This is me. You're probably wondering how I got here and how I got this low in my life. Well, my friends told me it'd be fun to buy the new Call of Duty for the 30th time. And since barely any of my friends still play Halo, even though it's actually good now, I figured I would listen to them. So against my best wishes, I bought Modern Warfare 3. But hey, look at that. This is just the early release version and I can only play the campaign. And with nothing better to do, I did. And boy, what a campaign it was. Probably one of the worst campaigns I've played in a while. You see, we're at the point where single player campaigns aren't really the focus anymore, mostly because it doesn't make executives money. Actually, that's probably the only reason. So they don't really want to waste their time making it, and in fact at this point I'd say the executives reluctantly give the green light to the campaign team to start development every time a new Call of Duty comes out. Battlefield has solved the single player campaign problem by simply just not making one, and that worked out really well for them. But Call of Duty, now over 40 games deep into the series, continues to give us campaigns, which really used to be a huge focus of the game, until battle passes and microtransactions became a thing. So what we got with Modern Warfare 3 was a campaign that even I could complete in a weekend. It's shallow, it feels rushed, half-baked, lazy, and the story feels incomplete. Like we needed a third act that we just didn't get. It almost felt like a DLC. Now, if you go online, you'll see a lot of people saying this, that Modern Warfare 3 is simply a DLC being sold at a $70 price tag. And I unfortunately have to agree with them at this point. After handing out $70 for a game, I expect something longer than this. First off, and I have to bring this up since it's one of the first characters we see, but what the hell happened with Makarov? His face is like all baby-like? The OG Makarov was much more intimidating based on looks alone, and the original voice acting made him seem like a cool and calculating psychopath, which he pretty much was. In this iteration, he's still intimidating, but it's just not the same. I don't really mind that they made these changes to Makarov, but why change stuff like this in the first place? It's like when they changed that chick from Horizon Zero Dawn, just why, bro? Why? Near the end of the first mission, we have the cliched dialogue choice scene that seems like it matters, but it really doesn't matter, and it's only after you play through the entire game that you realize that it didn't matter and you see how shallow all of this is. In fact, this is the only time where you make any choice in the game at all. It's like the devs were just checking a box, just to really set in that your choices don't matter. So thanks for nothing, I guess. Now, what was introduced to me shortly after this mission was something that made me audibly sigh, roll my eyes, cringe, all at the same time. Like, it really set up how this campaign was going to play out for the majority of the time, and I knew exactly what Activision was trying to pull here. And that, folks, is open combat missions. These open combat missions, or OCMs, are easily the laziest mission designs I think I have ever seen. So to put it in simple terms, imagine playing shitty Warzone, except you have missions and infinitely respawning enemies. Oh, and all of these are basically stealth missions. Oh, and they take up half of the missions throughout the entire game. Doesn't that sound like a lot of fun? It's pretty funny too because these missions were extremely overhyped. Just go to the COD website and there's an entire page dedicated to OCMs. Just paragraphs of bullshit trying to convince you that these missions are actually cool. Now, I like to think everyone watching our videos on this channel are super smart and intelligent, as we have a lot of highbrow content here, so I won't need to explain that these OCMs are complete trash filler missions made to pad out the length of the campaign without putting in the dev time for a normal mission. I'm sure you already know that. Running around from objective to objective point on a boring open map is such a chore that I could barely keep interest in playing through them. It's the equivalent of an RPG fetch quest in COD. And did I mention that 100% of my stealth missions ended up like this? Now, I'll admit that some of these Modern Warfare campaigns are a guilty pleasure for me. To me, they're like the Fast and Furious of video games. Everyone's doing insane shit, stuff's blowing up in your face, you're jumping out of planes and moving vehicles and you somehow survive. You're getting shot in the face and stabbed, but you still keep fighting somehow. Nukes are going off. It's all scripted, but it's just so damn cool. It's like you're playing through an action movie, and it's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people enjoy these campaigns, myself included. In that way, open combat missions are the literal opposite of everything that makes Call of Duty fun and cool. But even the missions that do play out like regular Call of Duty games did of the past, well, they're just not super memorable anymore. And to add to the laziness of it all, they literally use the Warzone map for campaign missions. Seriously, they just use the same map, and they base missions around it. And it's honestly impressive thinking about how much time and money that they saved, and then had the balls to charge us all $70 for it, for a campaign that's around 3 to 5 hours and multiplayer with relentless microtransactions littered throughout the whole thing. And when you really step back and look at how much money COD as a whole actually generates, it's pathetic to think that this was the best that they could give us. The latest COD had generated $1.7 billion since it was released. Oh wait, sorry, that's just the ad revenue from the mobile game. Modern Warfare 2 generated $1 billion in the first 10 days. You know, I actually take it back now. It's not pathetic, it's actually disgusting and embarrassing. Sadly, the story of the campaign does absolutely nothing to help the lackluster missions. Nothing of consequence really happens. Makarov escapes from prison, you try to capture him, and at the end of the game, you don't capture him. Perfectly setting up Modern Warfare 4, probably another scam of a campaign where Makarov is the bad guy. Oh, and Soap dies too. Man, they really just offed him, didn't they? Not really much of a care about how a beloved character went out. He just gets unceremoniously shot in the head. And that's how the game ends. A real complete campaign would have went from this point into Act 3. A main character dies, we all want revenge, and then we go after Makarov. And we don't even have to capture Makarov at the end if they want to keep him as the big bad for the next game. Just let him escape again, but do it in a classic COD way. You enter a scripted event at the end of one of the last missions, you struggle with him, you do some quick time events, then he somehow just barely escapes and it sets up the next game. But it's all done in a cinematic way. In Modern Warfare 3, the way that it's written, he just kind of escapes, he runs away. It's all just really shitty, especially after he just killed Soap. And basically that's all that happens of consequence in the game. Oh yeah, and Price killed Shepard too. This is honestly the coldest and best part of the entire campaign, and it's a 1-minute cutscene. After stepping back and looking at Modern Warfare 3's story as a whole, I kind of feel bad for the actors that got stuck in this sad excuse of a campaign, because they're really damn good. The acting and character interactions are pretty top notch. There are some dumb moments like why didn't Shepard just kill Makarov when he had the chance? Sparing him just caused the death of Soap and the death of countless others, so yeah, it was kind of dumb. It was basically just in there to add some drama, but besides the dumb story beats, the actors and the visuals of the cutscenes were really, really nice. And that's honestly all the good that I could say about the campaign. There's honestly not much more to say about Modern Warfare 3 here, folks. You get a clearly rushed campaign that has lost most of its fun factor with rushed missions, horrible open combat missions, and a lackluster story that goes absolutely nowhere and only exists to set up another game. And in that way, it really is like a DLC. I mean, come on, can we just admit it now? I mean, the damn thing takes like 3 hours to complete, maybe. So thank you, Activision. Maybe your multiplayer will be fun, but I tell you what, I won't be buying any of those battle passes. I never have. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace out.